up.
Hey guys, and welcome to my first class video. Today will be covering the Alchemist class, although there's a lot in there, so I'm probably going to have to divide this up into a couple of videos. I will do the second part next week. But before we get into it, I have a couple of things I need to talk about. First, in last week's video about the death system, I made two mistakes. You can actually crit fail on your recovery check on something other than a natural 1 if the DC is high enough. For example, if the DC is 12, then you would crit fail if you rolled a 2. The other mistake I made is that you do have to rest for 10 minutes in addition to being healed to full hit points to get rid of the wounded condition. The second thing I want to talk about is my Extinction Curse stream game. We tried to do a session 0 on stream, but nobody could hear any of the players. That has been fixed, and I should be able to do session 1 on my channel effectively. If you want to watch session 0, check out the link in the description. But all you really missed was everybody building characters, so if you're not interested in that, don't bother. Now that that's out of the way, let's get started with the Alchemists. I will go over the class features in this video, and then next week I will cover the feats, since there are far too many feats for me to go over them and the class features in one video. I am also not going to cover all the alchemical items in either video, because there are far too many of those too. At level 1, Alchemists are experts in fortitude and reflex saves, and trained in will saves and perception. They are also trained in the crafting skill and a number of additional skills equal to 3 plus their intelligence modifier, which would be a total of 8 skills for most alchemists, as their intelligence modifier would be 4. They are also trained in simple weapons and unarmed strikes, as well as alchemical bombs. This is an important distinction because alchemical bombs are normally martial weapons, so if they didn't make this distinction, then bomber alchemists wouldn't be able to use their own bombs. For armor, they become trained in light armor, medium armor, and unarmored defense. I know that the book says that they don't get trained in medium armor, but that is because the new errata added that. If you want to see the main things that the errata changed, check out the video in the card. The final thing that alchemists get initially is they become trained in Alchemist class DC, which is very important because a lot of things go off their Alchemist class DC, especially once they get to level 5. Also at first level, alchemy is your bread and butter. You can create alchemical items the normal way that all classes can, but this ability also allows you to create temporary items using special reagents quickly and at no monetary cost. As you level up, you can create more items for free. You gain the alchemical crafting feat even if you don't meet the prerequisites. This gives you 4 common first level alchemical items for your formula book. You can use this feat to create alchemical items as long as you have the formula for the item in your book. As you level up, you get more formulas for your book for free, but you can also buy or find them in your adventures. GMs out there, it is a very cool thing to do to just put alchemical formulas as part of treasure hoards if you have an alchemist in the party or just any player who took the alchemical crafting feat. It makes them feel great, and they don't have to waste a free formula on it when they level up. Infused reagents are what make the alchemists great. These are what allow you to make alchemical items without spending any money or time. They are like spell slots, but alchemists don't cast spells. When you prepare for the day, you gain badges of infused reagents equal to your level plus your intelligence modifier. So for most level 1 alchemists, that is going to be 5. Level 1 plus 4 intelligence modifier. You can use them in Advanced Alchemy or Quick Alchemy, both of which I will explain now. Advanced Alchemy allows you to make alchemical items quickly and easily. You do not need to make a crafting check, and you can ignore the typical amount of time needed and any alchemical reagent requirements. Your Advanced Alchemy level is equal to your character level. You can make 2 of any item from your formula book, as long as your Advanced Alchemy level is high enough. These items only last until your next daily preparations or 24 hours, whichever comes first. Need a specific alchemical item quickly? That is what quick alchemy is for. For one action, you can make one alchemical item that is in your formula book. It must be of your advanced alchemy level or lower, and it only lasts until the start of your next turn. So you would have 2 actions left to use it and do something else. But you do have to use that item right away, otherwise you can't later. Your formula book is where you keep all your alchemical formulas. You get one for free when you create an Alchemist. It contains 2 common first level alchemical items of your choice, in addition to those gained from the alchemical crafting feat and your research field. Also, each time you gain an Alchemist level, you gain 2 common alchemical items for your formula book based on your new level. So if you're level 2, these can be chosen from first or second level alchemical items, or if you're level 10, you can choose from items that are 10th level or lower. Next is the subclass for Alchemist, called a research field. There are 4 different research fields that you can pick from: Bomber, Chirurgeon, which is the healer alchemist, Mutagenist, and Toxicologist. They each give a minor benefit in addition to 2 extra formulas for your formula book. The Bomber research field allows you to choose whether or not the splash damage from your bombs affects the area around the primary target or just the primary target. This is very good when you don't want to hit allies around the enemy you are hitting with your bombs. You also get to add any 2 first level alchemical bombs to your formula book. The Chirurgeon research field adds 2 of the following formulas to your formula book: Lesser Antidote, Lesser Anti-Plague, or Minor Elixir of Life. I know it says Lesser Elixir of Life in the book, but that's a typo. Lesser Elixir of Life is a 3rd level item and you can't make it at level 1. Also, as long as you are at least trained in medicine, you can use crafting for all of medicine's trained and untrained uses. This means you only need to be trained in medicine to get all the perks of the medicine skill by using crafting. How I would read this is that you would use your proficiency in crafting to determine the hit points healed by treat wounds, and not your proficiency in medicine. This makes it a lot better, and I think is probably how the developers want it read. The mutagenist research field is kind of confusing because they wrote it wrong. You gain 2 first level mutagen formulas for your formula book. Now this is where it gets confusing. You want to ignore the second paragraph, as anyone can take any mutagen, so that doesn't do anything. And instead add the mutagenic flashback free action. Choose 1 mutagen you have consumed since your daily preparations. You gain the effects of that mutagen for 1 minute. So basically, you gain the effects of any 1 mutagen you have consumed that day without having to drink another one, and it's a free action. So you can just, as a free action at the beginning of combat, get back your bestial mutagen, or whatever mutagen you want that you've already taken. Yes, it's only a once per day thing, but it's certainly better than what they originally had. The last research field is the Toxicologist. You add 2 first level poisons to your formula book. Also, when you are applying an injury poison to a weapon you are holding, you can do it for 1 action instead of a 2 action activity. You can also change the DC of your infused poisons to your class DC if it is higher. That last part is really good until about level 5, when all alchemists get this. For all their alchemical items. The last thing for level 1 alchemists is a lesser version of the level 5 field discovery ability, which I will cover later in this video. For now though, just know that you can make 3 items instead of 2 for the 2 items you chose for your research field. So, bombers get 3 of those bombs per reagent, mutagens get 3 of those mutagens, and so on. This is in the new errata, which again, you can check the video in the card. After first level, there is some pretty basic stuff that all classes get up until level 5. Class feats, skill feats, general feats, ability boosts, ancestry feats, and skill increases pretty much all happen at the same levels for all classes, and that includes this one. Next, at level 5 is the field discovery class feature I talked about earlier. At level 5, each research field can create 3 of any item in their field per reagent, instead of just specific items like the lesser version. So bombers get 3 bombs, toxicologists get 3 poisons, etc. These items do not need to be the same. Also at level 5, all alchemists get the powerful alchemy class feat as a class feature. It's no longer a feat, it is a class feature now. This just allows you to make the DC of any alchemical item that you make with quick alchemy equal your class DC instead of what it would normally be. This assumes that the item has a DC. At level 7, you get alchemical weapon expertise, which gives you expert in all weapons you're trained in. You also get Iron Will, making you an expert in will saves. This is also where alchemists get really good. Perpetual Infusions allows you to create 2 specific first level items from your research field using quick alchemy without using any of your reagents. You must have these items in your formula book, and you must choose them when you get Perpetual Infusions. Bombers get to pick from any 2 lesser bombs. Chirurgeons get lesser antidotes and lesser anti-plagues. That's right, they don't even get elixirs of life, and that's their main thing. This is why chirurgeons are not good. Mutagenists can pick from any 2 lesser mutagens, and toxicologists can choose 2 common first-level alchemical poisons. At level 9, alchemists become experts in class DC and perception. They also gain the Double Brew class ability. This essentially allows you to make 2 items using quick alchemy by spending 2 infused reagents instead of only being able to spend 1 reagent. This otherwise works like quick alchemy. The items do not need to be the same. At 11th level, alchemists get the Juggernaut ability, so they become a master in fortitude saves and auto-crit succeed on successes on fortitude saves. They also get Perpetual Potency, which is just a better version of the Perpetual Infusions ability you got at 7th level. Now you can do the same thing as Perpetual Infusions, but with the moderate versions of the items you picked for that ability. Except in the case of the Toxicologist, which just gets to pick 2 5th level poisons for this ability. At 13th level is Greater Field Discovery. This just makes your research field even better. Now bombers can get a splash of 10 feet or 15 if they have expanded splash, which I will cover in the feats video next week. Chirurgeons get a much needed boost at this level. Now when they use quick alchemy to create elixirs of life, the creature drinking it gets the maximum number of hit points from that elixir of life instead of rolling for the healing. They desperately needed this, but they still are not that great. There are much better healers out there even with this ability. Mutagenists can now be under the effects of 2 mutagens at the same time, but if you try to drink a third one, you lose the benefits of one of the first 2 mutagens, your choice. Toxicologists now get to apply 2 injury poisons to a weapon, but not a piece of ammunition. It takes a separate action to apply each poison. The 2 poisons can be up to 6 levels lower than your class level, and you can't use poisons that weren't made via perpetual infusions. Once combined, the 2 poisons become a double poison that has both effects, but uses the lower of the 2 poisons DCs. Also at 13th level is Light Armor Expertise. This is just like other expertise feats. You become an expert in all armor you're proficient in. You also gain weapon specialization for some extra damage. This includes bomb damage, since bombs are weapons. So keep that in mind. At 15th level is Alchemical Alacrity. This is just double brew for 3 items. You can stow the 3rd item somewhere on your person. However, unless you take a certain feat, which I will cover in the next video, you are much better off using Double Brew, because you can only use 2 more actions on your turn after using this ability, so the third item is wasted. Also at 15th level is Evasion. Master in reflex saves, and if you roll a success on a reflex save, you get a crit success instead. At 17th level is Alchemical Mastery. Just master an Alchemist class DC. That's it. Also at 17th level is Perpetual Perfection, which is just perpetual infusions but for the greater versions of the item you chose for that ability, and any 11th level poison in the case of the Toxicologist. The 19th level ability for the Alchemist is kind of a letdown. You just get Light Armor Mastery. So master in all armor you're proficient in. That's it. But I guess Alchemists are just so versatile that they had to nerf it somewhere. And that's going to wrap up this video. Next week I will be going over the Alchemist class feats, so look out for that. Also next week is Session 1 of the Extinction Curse game, so look out for that too. That will be streamed on Wednesday night, 4 p.m. Central. The feats video will probably come out next Saturday. If you want to learn more about this system, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I try to put out content every week except the weeks of holidays. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments, the Pathfinder Lair Facebook group, or the Pathfinder Lair Discord server. Links are in the description. So until next time, let's play some Pathfinder.
1, 2, 3, no.